this guy is a multi-hyphenate, just like I am. I'm telling you, he does it. He has done film, TV, and stage. Okay. He's done all three. He also, I mean, he writes songs and he sings them and he plays on them. But now he's also doing these vertical dramas. You know what we're talking about? So we're doing this mini series on this show, Hollywood Mini Spotlight. I'm James Lott Jr. We're talking about the vertical drama, the micro shorts, whatever you want to call them. They're taking over Storm. They've been around a long time in other parts of the world, but now America has got on board, and Canada has got on board. And so here's our second person on our list that we're talking to. He's another three-name person, like myself. We like the three names, always the three names, of course. Now, while I'm telling you, he can sing, and he can act, he can be on stage, he can also help you with your fitness. He has LCS Fitness, also out there. We'll talk about that too. He has a new song out. It's called Out of Time. It's really, really good. Let me help me welcome Luke Charles Stafford.
Hey,
Luke,
man,
Luke.
that's a hell of an intro. I gotta carry you around everywhere I go. Are you free
I'll,
for the rest of your life?
I'll give you good intros wherever you go. Wherever you want to go, I'll give you good intros everywhere. Just
Hell
everywhere.
yeah, man.
But go to your family. I'll make a good intro for you before you walk in the door. I'll make a good intro.
Good. So I'd like to book you on all major holidays. I want to make sure that my nephews continue to love me. So every birthday,
We'll work on that. Yeah,
every
work on that. Yeah,
play,
work on that. Mhm.
every soccer game, every baseball
Got it.
game, just come with me.
Got it. You make sure
Now,
I have honey sticks, lozenges,
yeah, yeah.
sure, everything's still, lubricated, so it's good. Yes, make sure it's good.
Yeah, dude. Before we start, I just want anyone who's watching to know that James and I just had a chance. We've been hanging out. I feel like we could have been recording everything. We're just hanging
I
out for
know.
a
I'm like
solid
crazy.
30 minutes. And I was like, oh man, we should have recorded that. No, but
And it makes sense. I say things like, oh, too late. Oh well. Yes.
he's James is a very clear to me, very, very stand-up man of character. He's what you hope to find in Hollywood and often have to work hard to find. It's oftentimes in Hollywood, it's very easy to find, the sugar, the sweet, the fireworks, all this stuff. But it's difficult to find sometimes the substance. And I just want to take a moment to say, James, hanging out with you for the last half an hour, very clear to me that you have a lot of substance. You have a lot to offer as a man and a professional, and as a human being. Just getting to know him the last half an hour has been, I feel like not just a expenditure of time, but a blessing of time. So I just want to make sure I said that to anyone who's listening. James is the real deal.
Well, thank you, Luke. I appreciate that. And I will lead into that with asking you, did you know? Because now since this is hindsight now, but did you know you could make a living doing stuff creative?
Oh, dude. Well, growing up, I mean, I knew it was possible, but I mean, I grew up, I was just a little squirt in Indiana, small
Indiana, no,
town.
Indiana.
Yeah, man, me too. Anderson, Indiana, just it's a place of some really just salt to the earth people. I think anyone who knows me often points out that these elements are things, and that they are. I hold on to them. I carry them with me. But it's a place of very salt to the earth, strong morale type individuals. Work harder than anybody. Work harder than anybody. Take your work very seriously. Don't take yourself too seriously. And be the biggest thing, I was fortunate. Life has been difficult in a lot of ways, but one of the things that I'm very blessed by is the also where I grew up, and then past then, I've been very fortunate in finding really great male role models, really great men, to pave the way and show me the masculine journey, um, doing the hard stuff, and not putting it on blast to seek validation. There's a long list of things, and Indiana is where all that started. Um, and I remember just being a little squirt watching. I watched Christopher Reeve play Superman so much on every Christmas break, winter break, days after school. I put it on a loop, and I would put on my Superman pajamas. I was like a 3-year-old little toad, and I would get my Superman tint out, and I would just watch and watch and watch. I was obsessed with. I've always been a big Superman fan, but I was obsessed with this story. And so ever since I was just a little fella, I've been so enamored with what a story could do, and something that was recorded in a studio somewhere, or all the trappings decades later could cause a 3-year old kid in the middle of a cornfield to feel something. That's a type of magic that I couldn't have put to words back then. And we've all felt it. We've all felt it in a theater or in our homes or on our phones. And for me, it's always been about film, and acting and storytelling has always been about inspiring and encouraging others and giving them hope. There's always I love all kinds of stories, even everything from even into horror and thriller stuff that's not quite as profound. But you know, for me, the default, the reset button has always been when film, I think, is at its best. It's inspiring us and encouraging us, and helping us gain access to hope. And that's how I would come later in my life as an adult to model my acting career, and moving to a place where I'm doing all of these things full time. Um, if I can add one more thing, I've just been, the word is humble. I probably overuse it. If anyone follows me, they probably see me say that often. So maybe it might even seem like it's fake. And no, there's a French poet who once said that it's not about the victory, it's about the quality of work that we do. And for me, I have been so humbled to, I was doing this to an empty room for such a long time. I was homeless in my car. I was homeless in New York. I've worked 6 jobs at once. I've done labor jobs, groundskeeping at a cemetery,
Oh my God, oh,
teaching
wow.
little kids music. I've, done all kind of manual labor jobs and all kinds of things. And for me, just being able to, for me, it's seeing that it means something to somebody, seeing it affect someone who's not obligated. They're not a family member. They're not a friend. It's someone who I don't know, who they feel something because of a character I performed, or a song I wrote and sang, or a business I started. You know, um, to me, I'm just, I'm so humbled by it. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep building. And, you know, um, I feel very confident in what I can do these days, but I am so incredibly humbled, and I don't feel any bigger or better than anyone in the middle of Arkansas watching a film of mine, or anyone in Indonesia listening to a song, or anyone in France who signed up for our fitness program. I don't feel any bigger or better than anybody. So it just leaves me in a state of uh, chronic humility.
But see, I get it because it's one of those things where it almost seems very hokey, right? You're like, oh, here you go, another
Yeah.
person. But I get it, and so I do business in Indiana, in Western Indiana. So I have a
Oh,
lot of shows.
really?
Yeah, I do. It's by Terre Haute, between Terre Haute and Indianapolis. A third of my
Terre
business
Haute.
is from Indiana. So I have a lot of
Wow.
shows. We do a lot of high school football shows and basketball shows on my network.
Mm.
And I've been there. I've actually been to Indianapolis and Terre Haute. I've been to Dana, Indiana, and Clinton, Indiana. I mean, I've been to that. So I've seen what I always call flyover states. I always fly
Hmm.
over them. You're right. There is this thing that people are. I mean, they were so nice. I mean, like, and it was like, and it wasn't fake. And like, you're right. And they're all
Salt of
hard
the
work,
earth.
and they really are. But
Hmm.
that's one part of it. But the other thing you said that I agree with is that there are times when I'm just like, I've been in this business almost 20 years. I started from scratch too. Like, yeah, I started from scratch. I
Yeah,
started from scratch.
congratulations, man.
And you and I are still, we're doing stuff. There are a lot of
Hmm.
out of work actors. There are a lot
Right.
of non-paid musicians. There are a lot of people out there who haven't found their thing yet. We did.
Hmm.
Like, I feel like my question to you, I guess, another question to you is, are you more like an acts of service kind of guy? I feel like you are, but those kind of, you're like me, like we're here to serve, whatever that means.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a great way. It's funny you use that word because every time I'm asked, or things have been growing exponentially just over the last
Yeah, for you.
year, but every the last 3 months, even the last month, the last week, even there's been just so much growth. Um, and so I've caught myself answering this question more often these days, and I always say, I think, and you can, if you can find this quoted on the internet by me somewhere, I'm sure, but I catch myself saying a lot that a performer, an artist, an entrepreneur, an actor, anyone in that DIY, you built it yourself world, whether it's in the arts of entertainment or it's, entrepreneurial or whatever it is. And since I've had my hand in really all three, I think a artist is at their best when they are slave to the story and they are of service to the story. Because when they do that, like when I'm writing a song, taking it to music, if I'm, you know, for our guests watching, like before we started, I was explaining to James, I wasn't trying to, we were just talking about music, and I was sharing the story how I wrote this song called Still Missing You. And it was just like this thing that was in me, and I was attempting, without even realizing it, to serve. There was this feeling that I was feeling, and all I was doing was trying to chase that feeling and apply color to it, and apply language to it, and apply a feeling to it, and a sound and a sonic timbre, where at the substratum of it, that feeling, that message was felt in a way that goes beyond even words. And so I think an artist in the singing pop world that I'm in, I think we're our best when we're serving that story, we're serving that thing, because then if we serve that well, we serve whoever listens well. But by the time it gets there, it's detached from ego. It's detached from, and again, these are just my experiences. It's detached from anything about Luke that is designed to seek validation from the listener. It is all very pure and clean, even if the message is dirty
Right. I get that.
or messy, I should say. Um, Same thing in the film world. When I'm playing a character, I seek to really understand the character. I seek to really find something so interesting about him, because it helps me layer him. It helps me provide layers, not for layers' sake, but I'm able to understand who this person is and why they are the way that they are. And then I'll plant myself and root myself in whatever that is. So that way, by the time it comes out, it's really grounded. Something in the vertical space that we hear a lot is, it doesn't always have the highest quality of acting. And for me, I've been so proud of all of my colleagues, um, regardless of where their acting skills are at. The only thing I've ever focused on is my craft. And for me, I've been very humbled by, I've won numerous acting awards. I won the Best Actor award for all of Real Short TV in
Yeah.
2024, uh, and a few others, which I won't name those. My point is that I hear all the time how the fans really appreciate my just grounded style and quality of acting. And it's funny, that when I hear that they felt something, I don't care if it's one person or 1 million. I I can't tell you how much that affects me, how much that means to me. Um, it just, I was told when I was a kid, I was bullied for being overweight. I was told I was tone deaf. Um, I was encouraged, even out of a good place, to find, and this is the con of the Midwest, right? There's the pros we named, is to seek a stage of employment that's reliable.
Oh, yes.
You know, Moving to Hollywood and putting your soul on the line, you could be taken advantage of sexually, you could be taken advantage of financially. I mean, and it comes from a good place, in everyone's heart. But be a great man, but ooh, do something safe, do something that keeps you safe, and also something reliable and safe. And so for me, for just a decade of pouring everything I had and going from homelessness to now, I'm pouring money back into my businesses to try to reach more people and encourage and you know, enhance my craft, enhance our programs at LCS Fitness, take my music up to the next level, make more music regularly. I mean, I'm pouring my money back into it. I'm even directing a movie that I've written for
Oh,
my own that uses all my music. What can I do to reach the hearts and minds of people more innately and more in depth? And for me, it's never been about the fame. For me, there's a great quote from TD Jakes that stuck with me back in 2017. And he said he never wanted to be famous. He said that fame can be a consequence of being effective. And that stuck with me.
yeah,
It's a consequence of
yeah,
being effective. And so for me, I don't focus on the fame. I just focus on being effective and what's effective about what I'm doing specifically in serving that character, serving that song, serving that story, serving that person who's trying to lose weight, and everything else. It takes longer. But as a result, where I'm currently at, what I'm currently experiencing is it's incredibly much, much, much more meaningful. Um, like looks will fade, everything else will fade.
oh, yeah.
I play the handsome son of a gun a lot, you
Yes,
know, and that'll fade,
right.
you know. But how I treat people is something I can hold on to until I draw my last breath.
Like
How
I said,
I
yeah.
all that stuff. So
Go on.
anyway, long-winded answer, but there's a lot of levels to it. So I appreciate letting me go a little deeper into it.
Of
But
course, of course.
it's just that's how I see the world, and so as I'm hitting the gas harder these days, but that's where I currently am mentally, and how I'm taking it going forward.
Well, that's why I'm doing these episodes with a bunch of you guys because people see numbers. You guys have a lot of followers. They see these shorts, whether it's, real shorts or real drama or this, there's a million different channels that do these. I got hooked on one once where I had to watch. I'm like, I'm on episode 50. I have to see how this works. I have to keep working.
Yeah,
I had to keep it. Seriously, there's just one story. I was like, I got to see what
gotcha,
happens. I got to see what happens. I was like, it was crazy. I got hooked. I want to show people also
gotcha.
that you guys are not just these puppets. That you guys have lives outside this. Many of you are trained, and many of you are seasoned, and it just happens that vertical dramas are just the thing right now. That's what's driving Hollywood right now, and
Right,
they're
right.
easier to make. They're faster to make. They're cheaper to
Hmm.
make. But I think this is not the fiesta now. I think just now they're matching. I'll see how you feel about this. I feel like they're matching people's attention spans anyway and viewing habits. We're all on our phones or our tablets.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, so do you feel the same? Like that literally, it's matching the technology and the brains of people who are consuming drama.
I want to answer that question outside in.
Oh, good.
Okay,
Please.
so and let me explain. There's one area that still remains as the dopamine is found for the viewer in full submission to the attention. It's a very fancy way of saying the movie theater
Yes.
is the only place that remains where when you go, you set your phone down. And you
Right.
don't do it because like you naturally want to. It's the only form that I know of. I would say in any type of live theater, any type of
Okay.
thing where it's a ticketed thing where you're there to watch and consume the story. 99% of people I would say, or the vast, vast majority, when they go, they're not on their phone. Uh, because the they're there to the mindset is I'm there to consume this versus the modern day, the dopamine is found in exactly where the vertical dramas come in. It's you're scrolling your phone while you take a piss.
Yes.
You are scrolling your phone while you're taking a shit. Excuse my
Right.
language.
Yep.
You're looking at your phone when you shouldn't be while you're sitting in traffic. You're
Right.
sitting in
Yes.
a doctor's office. You're waiting on your son to. You're waiting on your parents to pick you up. Whatever it is, and that is the explosion. Of the dopamine that comes from our social media. And so this is storytelling that has infiltrated that same science. So the answer to your question is absolutely yes. I think for me, it's interesting because it highlights how much power it has, but then how much power. It's like the difference between dating and married, or the
Okay.
difference between like there's stark differences, right? The theater and watching a vertical soap on your phone. There's a reason they're vertical and you can scroll.
Right.
Like that fits that type of dopaminergic response. And then the theater, though, there's a reason why it's horizontal. The beats are drawn out. It takes us the first act and the first 20 minutes to kind of really love these characters and start to, versus vertical soaps, you're thrown right into it right away, and the drama happens within the first 3 minutes. You know
Yeah,
what I
it
mean? So
does. It does. Yeah.
otherwise, people will keep scrolling. So, you know, the answer to your question is yes. And I think it's just very interesting to contemplate.
Well, I read a thing recently because you and I both are songwriters that most popular songs now have small
Can't
intros.
wait to listen to your music, by the way.
I'm like,
Sorry for
listen, man.
interrupting.
I know what I'm going to say.
Everyone go stream James Lott, man.
That's right. Oh my God, you said it. Luke said it. So I'm
Hmm.
everywhere. I'm on everything. I'm on everything. Uh, no, but they're saying that nowadays the popular songs you listen to them, they have shorter intros. They get right to the point. Some will even open with the chorus first.
Yeah.
If
See?
you go back in
Yeah, yeah.
time, some of these songs it took a while to get to anything.
8 minutes long. Yeah, 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 yeah,
And
yeah.
7 minutes, 8 minutes. But it's saying nowadays because even songs that were 3:35 to 4:25 were long. Now they're going down to 2:25. Like the old days, like in the '60s, they're getting smaller and smaller, or
Yeah.
just getting to the chorus right away to
Yep.
hook you, right? Just to hook
Yep.
you. But I'm thinking, but you and I are probably from the school like, well, the song's good, it's good.
Yeah.
If you can't hook them just by hearing the intro anyway, I don't know what that means, but they're saying because of what you just said, it's faster, it's cleaner. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I like the song already, and then they'll listen to it.
Right.
It's
Right.
it's, it's a crazy thing. But I have to ask
No,
you
you're so right.
because you did do Broadway.
I did. Yeah.
I was saying coming from saying because I've been homeless before too. So I was like 19 years old. And I was homeless for I
Mhm.
was homeless like for about a couple months. So I know how that feels.
Mhm.
But for you to go from small town Indiana to go to New York City to be homeless even there some part of the time, but then to actually at some point you got on Broadway.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So hello, that's like that's how life can work. So that's why anybody who watches this.
yeah.
That's how life can work when you're working life,
Yeah.
right?
I think I'd also love to highlight too how I want to make sure I say this as truly as I can, because otherwise it could produce a very authentic eye roll if I was watching it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, all right, I know how to say that.
Okay.
I care. I pause a lot to think before
I
I
love it.
speak sometimes because
Most
I,
people
I just
should
want to make
pause to
sure I
think.
say it.
Most people should pause.
Sometimes the most important things are elaborate. Sometimes they're very simple, but oftentimes life is not as black and white as we try to make them seem. And so as a result, an individual can go feeling depressed and lonely because they don't feel understood. I don't feel that towards myself. I more so just, I know there's going to be others who know exactly what I'm about to say, who will feel like they've had to hide this part of themselves, like I did. It's very easy to look successful and be suffering greatly. And you can't talk about it because you know that there are other people out there starving. You know that there are, but you could be suffering greatly. And so as a result, what happens is you hide it. And in some ways, it becomes just as dangerous as some of those more dramatic on the nose examples that we can talk about openly. It can become just as dangerous because that's an individual that, you know, without proper help will probably go on to take their own life. And we see it all the time,
You
right? We see it, right?
all
And
the
we
time.
wonder, well, why they had it all? What, that those are macro examples, large scale examples, but let me bring it down small scale and I'll use myself as an example and humble myself for the audience because I don't want to try to label. I don't know everyone else's stories. I can't speak to that, but I can speak to mine. Um, I was homeless when I was on Broadway. I was
Oh,
broke when I was on Broadway.
okay.
I was going through a really difficult breakup just before that. And it sounds at the time, it sounds like how Broadway and homelessness don't really usually go together. It's
Yeah,
how is
I'm
that?
like I'm curious too. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you're growing up too, or if you're not, fully in the business, it's easy to assume that easy to assume that someone like that is very wealthy. It's easy. There's a lot of people, I guarantee, for those of you watching, there are probably a lot of people you think that are doing very well for themselves while you're, driving to your 9 to 5. You're thinking, well, this such and such name probably, they have different problems than they don't have the problems I have. Where the reality is, they could be near suicide, and they are doing it behind a smile,
Right.
and
Right.
you have no idea.
Yes.
So that's the substratum of what I'm trying to speak about. In my much smaller scale way, I don't want to. I'm not an A-lister like them. My heart goes out to those individuals when I see it. When the lead singer from Linkin Park took his own life a few
Oh,
years ago,
my
I
favorite.
uh,
My
I
favorite.
just in my heart, I was like,
I was devastated. So I was devastated.
right. We can name so many others too, where it's like, and that how lonely it must feel and debilitatingly. It's different when you have something that is celebrated to speak about,
Right.
but it's much harder when it's like people kind of roll their eyes like, you're struggling, you're what? You're good looking,
Yeah, they place stuff on you. Like, well, you're
your
good
dreams
looking.
have
You got a
come
great body.
true.
What's wrong with you? Like,
Yeah, and your dreams have come true. You're doing this for a living, blah blah. And while yes, like I'm so humble, like I just said already in the podcast, I'm so humbled and grateful by all that. Additionally, it's very easy to suffer in silence in this business,
yes.
and it can be so destroying to the inside of yourself. So let me give you a quick example. When I was on Broadway, I was hired for a very unique role by a great director. His name is Jonathan Tessero. Before that, I just moved to LA. I was working 6 jobs, living with 10 guys in a house. Okay. Um, and I was about to go homeless a second time. I was homeless in LA before that, for a few weeks, living out of my car before I found this group of 10 guys to live with, in a house of 10.
I
And I
know
was
there's
working as a paddleboard instructor. And I was working 4 other jobs, just
a
trying. I
paddleboard
still wasn't
instructor.
going to be
Okay, well, that's actually That's very LA. That's very LA.
yeah.
Like,
That was a fun job,
yeah.
and I would go do that during the day. I was just trying to, you know. And then I get the call from Broadway, and it was a director who's still a great friend of mine who I had played saxophone for and sang for. And he had a very unique role for a Christmas Broadway show, which required someone like me who could also, who could play saxophone.
Yeah.
And so that was the role, and it was, I was dearly honored. I was a kid at the time. I was 23. It feels like a kid to me,
As a
at
kid.
least
As
now.
a kid. As a
And
kid. Yeah.
I had a mountain of student debt. And so while I wasn't, you probably think we were making more than we were. We're not making as much money as you think we would make. But at the same time, it was at the time when I'm penny pinching, it was a chunk of money that did mean a lot. It was more than what I was making, and it was Broadway money, low budget
Right.
Broadway money, but and I was taking it, and I was just trying to attack my student debt. And instead of getting a place to rent while I was there, I actually got a host. I stayed
Okay.
with a host, and I uh, stayed there for free while I was just trying. I had, a bunch of debt to pay, and this individual had a family crisis and just told me, I do need you to leave. I need you gone by the morning. It's a negative 32 degrees outside, uh, and it's New York, and I'm actually broke because I've been spending all my money on my student debt
Right.
and holding on to just enough to like feed myself and this and that. Simultaneously, I had two friends who were college students still. I had graduated, they were friends of mine, and two guys who I was also kind of their bigger brother. I was kind of encouraging them and mentoring them in a way. They were flying in. They were supposed to stay with us. And she said, I not only can they not stay, I need you out in the morning. And I have two, I'm broke, but these are if I'm broke, they're dead broke. You know what I mean? Like they had 20 bucks in their bank account. I had 200. You know what I mean? So and we didn't get paid for Broadway for a couple more weeks. And it was also a record low. It was 2017. It was a record low chill. Um, it matched the same temperatures as a blizzard back in the 80s.
Oh, I remember.
And anyway, and they're landing, and I'm homeless. And it turned into this whole thing where I was trying to ask friends like floors they could sleep on, just the two of them. I even had to separate them. I can put one here and one here. And I was going to sleep on the F train. you
I know
know.
the F train. Oh my God, it's going to F train outside to Brooklyn. I know that.
Yeah, I would go sleep there for a few hours, and then before I would get in trouble with the NYPD,
Course.
I would get up on a few hours sleep,
Yeah,
crappy sleep,
yeah.
and then I would get up. I would go to the theater. I was at the August Wilson.
August Wilson,
I
yes.
would go sleep in the at. I would get up. I would tell the bellhop like I'm just here to put some extra work in and like work on the music and like practice, you know. And he didn't think anything of it. And I went up and slept in the attic, and that's kind of how I was, surviving. And then there was a moment where I was. I remember one show. The curtain call was 7 p.m. and I was so exhausted, James, like over the course of a week of just dealing with this homelessness situation. And I didn't ask for help. That's another thing. If I were to go back in time, I probably could have avoided that whole situation if I had just asked for help from my. But a 23-year-old kid, you care a lot about what people think about you, or at least I did. I
You,
didn't want to bring drama to.
right.
I didn't want to be that guy. I had some cast members tell me that they thought that I didn't deserve to be on Broadway. They didn't think I was. We hadn't even sang a note or played a note, and I had a few people tell me that, yeah, we just don't think you deserve to be here.
Dang.
So don't fuck with us. And
But you
I
did. But
actually at
you
the
did.
time,
Yeah.
at the time I kind of thought that was awesome. I was like, oh my gosh, finally some people, because in LA people will smile and it's a little more plastic it can be.
It is. There it
And so at
is.
the time it was like you think I suck and you haven't even heard me do anything. You know what I mean? And but it was also because like they have credits far beyond mine, especially at
Yeah.
the time. I was
Yeah.
living with 10 guys racking paddle boards in the sand just a week ago. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
and I was a worship leader at a really small church. Like I was, and so and working those manual labor jobs and stuff. And so when they found that out, there was just a part of them that was like, why is he here? Why is not one of our friends
Oh,
who deserves it was that mindset. But they told me bluntly, like,
yeah. Yeah. That's New York for you. Don't tell you. They will tell
yeah. And so when the homelessness thing happened, I didn't want to give anyone an additional reason to think, I'm this kid who doesn't know shit and doesn't deserve to be there. And, there's all those layers to it. And looking back, I could have avoided that if I had just asked for help. That was an insecurity of mine. That was a kid's choice. And, uh, but that's one of the things that I grew from and learned from that experience. And anyway, go back to that story really quickly. I woke up, I fell asleep in the attic like I usually did. And bear in mind, like imagine, you're seeing a well showered, groomed version of myself. I looked like I was going through it. You can tell if I was looking rough. And my jacket was all tattered. Like it was just rough. Uh, well, curtain call is 7 p.m. And I remember waking up on my own. And I remember thinking, my alarm didn't wake me up. And immediately, that bone chilling feeling
Yes.
of, we've all had it. We've all had these
Oh,
moments.
yes, we have.
But on Broadway, that's a death sentence. And
Right.
especially to a 23-year-old kid that even holds extra weight, who cares what people think about him.
Right.
At the time, I stand up, I open the attic door because there's a clock out there. It's 6:54 p.m.
Oh my God.
And I think I had super speed. I didn't even realize it. I mean, I moved so I flew down 3 flights of stairs. Somehow I changed into a tux, grabbed a bit of hair product, boom, wiped water on my face, grabbed my saxophone, grabbed my sax mic, grabbed my vocal mic, and got into a tux for the first downbeat, ran up, and right as the curtain lifted, I was there. Well, my director saw me fly down the stairs, and he
Oh,
reached out to me after the show and said, "What's going on?"
okay.
So, long story short, I ended up getting help and getting off the street for the rest of our run.
Okay.
Um, and there's more details of that story. I remember I house sat somewhere and uh, I just remember my knees hit the floor and I was just so grateful and
Yeah, I'm sure.
started crying and
Oh, yeah.
you know, uh,
That's a great
but
story. That's great.
yeah, I was very, very, very. formative, and it was right after that experience. I'll add one button to it. I I was not fully committed at the time to pursuing my acting and my vision
Okay.
that I'm living in now for the first time, which is acting, uh, being a pop music artist, and starting and building businesses.
Yeah.
You know, being there's a star power element to that, and I was hiding behind the saxophone at the time. You know, a lot of people love me for playing the saxophone, and since I was 3, I really wanted to do what I just said.
Yeah.
And Broadway was the experience that woke me up. And that whole experience I just explained to you, I had a dream one night when I was on the F train. I remember I was standing on the stage and this man walks out silhouetted, and there's this whole crowd of just many people. And I can see that he's giving them hope. I can see that he's like inspiring them and leaving them with tools to better their lives when they leave the theater. And I'm standing in the back with my sax and vocal mic. And I'm like, who is this guy? Oh my gosh. He turns around. This isn't a dream. He turns around and it's me.
Oh, I like
And
that.
that's when I realized in my dream, like, I need to commit to that. That's what I wanted to do before I was told I was overweight, before I was told I was tone deaf. Like, that's how I want to change people's lives if I can, you know?
Yeah.
And it was wild in that dream because this version of myself was only 10 steps away. But I realized the only way to get there is I have to go backward and get back on that path. And so after Broadway, I set the saxophone down. I still play, you know, my sax is, I play sax solos in my songs, and but I went back to LA instead of taking the next big job because they came in to play, you know, to be the kind of acting, kind of singing too, but like
Yeah.
we really want you because you look a certain way and you also play sax. I
Good.
started saying no to all those opportunities. I got a job conducting choir at church and went and moved back into that house with those 10 guys. And I spent the next 2 years just pounding the shit out of my acting craft. I was in acting classes every week, multiple of them for just no applause. I set down this success that I had found. I went back to making no money and I just focused on my craft for 2 years. I mean, I focused. I beat the shit out of my acting craft, which you start to learn that you actually have a natural gifting for something. And classes help you begin to form the language to be able to speak what's inside of you. I started taking vocal lessons. I had taken voice in college, but I like started, I mean, I was every dollar that didn't go to eating and sleeping was going toward and surviving was going towards acting and
Good.
music. Just everything I had. And then I finally stepped out and after that incubation period, and I started looking for auditions and I started looking for a team, and it just started to click. Um, and that wasn't until I was about 25, 26. Um, and then it's just since then it's just been slowly just taken off.
Good.
And so there's a message in there of you've gotta, if there's something on your heart that you don't do the A- or the B+ version, don't do the plan B. Give that everything you have, because if that doesn't work out, it'll at least lead you to the thing you were called to. And for me, it was that whole Broadway almost experience where I thought, I really don't want to be the guy in the back. I don't want to be the backup singer sax guy who also acts a bit. And but you know, I picked up the saxophone because I was told I was tone deaf when I was 11. That's why I went and grabbed a saxophone and got really good at it quickly because I was pouring everything that I wanted to do with my singing and my acting. It was just like eating tofu. It was like surviving on tofu when you're actually a carnivore. And I love the saxophone. Don't get me, I love the
Like,
saxophone. Let's not get it twisted. But it was like if you watch old clips of me in my 20s, early 20s playing in my late teens, like people you just were so in awe at how well I could play. My eyes are always closed. And if you watch those clips, you'll see, knowing this now, I was imagining as if I was doing this or I was doing this. Like I was imagining me doing this. I played saxophone like I was a pop singer. If you watch those
got it.
clips, like I'm dancing around and I'm playing saxophone like a pop singer and
Yeah.
a lead actor, you know? And so, anyway, Broadway was the catalyst that woke me up. It was that dream I had. I think it was from God. And
Finally rich.
instead of being a pseudo version of yourself or of someone else, being the real version of you is how you'll serve people the best. Anyway, I know I'm being very aggressively long-winded. I
No,
so
I love that.
apologize, but
We have to end because he's on a time crunch. He's a busy guy. I got things to do. So I was looking at the time. I look at the time. So
oh,
and
gotcha. I wasn't even looking at the time.
I
Okay.
was looking at the time. This is a good place to end. Luke, you're my new friend. You always have a place to stay in LA if you have to. Don't worry about that. Now,
No, no, thanks, man.
if you ever have a
Luckily,
place
I'm
to,
doing better financially now.
I know you do better. I'm saying,
I'm paying my
I want to
bills.
say that you have a friend now in LA. If you don't talk about any of that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
No, but you are amazing, and you'll have to come back on again another time. You'll have to come on and have another good discussion with you. And his song is called "Out of Time." Make sure you check that out. You can follow him at Luke Charles Stafford. He's online, and I'll put his stuff in the description so you can follow him. And he's done about 20-something vertical dramas. I mean, he's out there doing it, so you'll probably see him on a bunch of stuff. And I'll put that
When are you putting this episode out?
probably in a week or so.
Then I'll go ahead and say this.
Say it.
The next vertical drama is a musical. It's the vertical industry's first ever musical.
I was wondering about that. Okay.
And the music in the vertical are all my songs. So Out of Time will be in the film. Just a Little will be in the film. Still Missing You will be in the film. And these are all fan favorites. And a song that I haven't released called Against the Wall will be the soundtrack, and my character will sing and perform these, play saxophone.
I've been waiting for that. I've been waiting for a vertical musical. I've been waiting for this.
Yes.
It had to happen at some point.
If you're releasing this not this week, then I can go ahead and tell you
it's
that.
Not this week. It'll be like next week or probably next week.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited. We're shooting that in Vegas. I leave this weekend. So
there you go, kids. Luke Charles Stafford, thank you, my friend. Folks, this is Hollywood Mini Spotlight. We're everywhere you want to be. We're on Apple, Audible, Spotify, iHeartRadio, everywhere under Hollywood Mini Spotlight. And of course, the granddaddy of them all, YouTube, under JLJ Media.
Yeah, man.
That's right. That's me. Follow me. Please follow all my work. There were great episodes too. This is part of our series of the men of vertical dramas. As you can see, after these first two, these are quality men out there doing quality work. So we support them here on JLJ Media. I'm James Lott Jr. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.